Welcome back to the channel. In today's episode, we're going to go over tube rolling. Now, if you're watching this video, you know we're not talking about this kind of tube. We're talking about electron tubes. In this episode, we're going to replace one type of electron tube with another type. I'm Dr. Lecision, and this is Digital Bytes.
So you bought yourself a tube preamplifier, and like all of us, once you buy one thing, now you're an expert. Next thing you want to do, if you're adventurous, is roll the tubes. And rolling the tubes is not taking the tube and doing this. Rolling a tube basically is changing them out. So here in this amplifier, we have two 6A 2 tubes, the Chinese version. Went ahead on eBay and ordered a couple of these military variant 5750, also known as 6BE6. Now the military version, which is JAN for Joint Army Navy, are in the plain white packaging. They were not allowed to have manufacturers. These, I believe, were from GE. Has a date of 1987. So these are some relatively new tubes. So in a few moments here, we'll go ahead and change these tubes out. Part of the fun of having a tube amplifier is being able to change out the tubes and adjust the sound to your preference. Now, you're not going to know what it sounds like until you actually go ahead and change the tubes. So one thing I like to do is before I put the tubes in is to use deoxit. Now this is a small bottle with a brush on the inside. You basically want to just brush across the pins here and make sure you don't have any kind of oxidation on these tubes. Very similar to other style. Take your deoxit, go across the pins, because as we know, these tubes have probably been sitting around in the box for a very long time, and oxidation does build up on these pins. Very simply, take a Q-tip and just gently brush them off. You might find oxidation, you might not. If you do find oxidation, chances are it'll probably be a little bit black in color. It doesn't seem to be too much on this one over here. Seems to be in good shape. Put that off to the side. Grab our next one. Same thing. Try to make sure you get each pin. Now, some of these contact cleaners you can get may cause an issue if it's not fully dry before you energize or plug the tube in and turn everything on. But from what Deoxit claims, you don't need to be fully dry before you energize the equipment. So there we are, our two tubes, nice and clean. Let's go ahead, pull out the old ones. You basically want to pull it straight up as possible. You don't want to do the back and forth rocking motion because the sockets can get weak. Same thing on this side, almost straight up. Use two hands. Comparison, here is the Chinese version over here, and here's the American version, a little bit smaller. Go ahead, line it up. Press it in not too firm. Same thing on this side. You can see there's a little space in the pins. Lines up over there. Hardest part is getting it to line up just right and having it seat properly without doing any damage to the tubes or to the pins. Take it back out, look at it, make sure the orientation is correct, and when it is correct, it'll go in like that. And now you're ready to go ahead and energize your equipment and play whatever music you like. One thing that I like to do is actually take a little piece of paper and write down on a piece of paper what these tubes are. Now I know these are the stock ones. Had some difficulties with the pen, went back to a regular pen because the other pen was obviously digital, because digital bites. This is Dr. Lecision as your host of Digital Bites. Please stay tuned, subscribe if you like, for other content based on tubes, all things of an analog nature. 6A2, Chinese, and I have about, well, let's say about 25 hours of total listening time. They say it may take up to 50 hours. Put it back in the box. Same with that one. Put that there. Little note is over there. And now your tubes are labeled. You won't have them confused. And if I don't like these tubes, and I prefer the original tubes better than these tubes, which it does happen, not every upgrade is a good upgrade.
Wow.
I can put them back in. And for what I can tell you, these stock 6A2 are actually pretty good. Good luck and happy listening.